Welcome to Ready, Set, Sold with your host, Bryan Vogt. Are you wanting or even thinking about selling your house but don't know where to start? Good thing you found Ready, Set, Sold. And now, real estate broker, Bryan Vogt.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Ready, Set, Sold. I'm your host, Brian Vogt. Hope you're having a fantastic Saturday. Hope you've got that shopping, if you're doing shopping, if you're doing Christmas shopping, getting those gifts, getting everything taken care of. Actually, all times of year is great, but the holiday season usually tends to have a lot more, fellowship, friendship amongst others, and just enjoying the time that we have together. With that, let's go into a little bit about the market, and the market has been still going strong. We talked last week about getting your house in the market in December. We know of houses that are coming on the market. We have houses coming on the market still yet this month because, look, if it's December, it means that you can have just as good a success as you can have in March or in June or in September or October. So that's the advantage of getting into the market right now. Give you a little brief history. Been doing this now, I think 7 months now. I'm on my 7th month. It's unbelievable. But I got started because I wrote a book. It became a number one best-selling book called Ready, Set, Sold, 12 Proven Steps to Get Your House Sold for Top Dollar and Fast Sale in St. Louis and Metro East. It became a number one bestseller on Amazon. And the radio station, 1380 The Answer, they heard about it, contacted me, and here we are. One of the reasons, I tell this all the time, and what I love actually about being on the radio is being able to give the book away for free, because it's just information that can truly help people get top dollar in a fast sale, because that's what most sellers want to do. And it's loaded with all kinds of information to get you there, and it's a 12-step process that sometimes may take a little bit more work, but the results are definitely worth it for the sellers that have used the book. So I want to make that available to everyone and absolutely free, no strings attached. Go to ReadySetSold.org, not.com, ReadySetSold.org, not.com. Pick up a book. I think it'd be well worth it. If you're thinking about moving in the springtime or even a year from now, it's well worth it. Just heard a story the other day, another agent I was talking to. It was a first-time seller's home, so that can always depend on pricing, but this one happened to be around $125,000. Just to kind of give you an idea. And they had watched those cable shows on how to sell a house, and they're all based on the East Coast and the West Coast, and we're talking about houses that cost 3, 5, 7, 10 times more than housing costs in this market here. And so they went ahead and they saw that hardwood floors and granite countertops, that's the way to go. And they spent $10,000, $15,000. And the agent was telling me that hated it, but had to sit there and tell them that, you know what, you're not going to get your money back. You might get a fraction of that back. And those are the things that, really are heartbreaking for me, and I know for other agents too. And of course, naturally for sellers. So again, one of the reasons why I wrote the book was to give that type of information. What should you improve? What shouldn't you improve? That can be just as valuable information as what you need to improve. So again, that's why I wrote the book. I'm passionate about real estate. Get the book. The show, really excited about it. We keep on expanding our reach. We have podcasts. You can go to Google Play or iTunes and pick up and listen to a segment of a show. You can go back weeks, you can go back months now, and listen to maybe something that you didn't quite catch, or you just want to listen to again, or listen to it as many times as you want. You can get that from podcasts. We're also on YouTube. Like us on Facebook. It's Ready, Set, Sold with Brian Vogt. And we're on LinkedIn, and we're, again, always expanding our reach further and further and further. With that said, let's talk about the show today. I've got some special guests, Hohe and Deb Rust from New American Funding. They're going to be talking about lending. They have programs that are still available, 1% down, that you can purchase a home, a conventional loan, which is going to be exciting news. We're also going to be talking about in the next segments after that is that pre-approval, pre-qualification, what's the difference, and how important it is as a buyer and for you as a seller to know the difference, and how simple it can be to move that needle, to get that information where you know you have the funds available to purchase your dream home and have the confidence to move forward. And naturally, it gives confidence to the seller and everyone else involved that we know that the buyers have the money. And good news is most times they do, but again, having that final last, I call it the gold standard. That's what you're really looking at. And when you're selling your home, you want a buyer to have a gold standard lender and a gold standard in getting a pre-approval. And then the next segment there, the importance of sellers getting pre-approved before. Again, with a hot market, any market really, but in a hot market, having situations where a seller sold their home, a day or 2, 3 days later, we're hearing these stories, they're getting full price offer, and they're a little bit like deer in headlights. It's not that they don't have a pretty good idea where they want to go. It's now the funding and what's that going to look like, and get worried about that. Or maybe you didn't get quite as much money as you wanted for your home. You still got top dollar, knowing that you can still pull the trigger and do what you need to do. So that's been the last segment. And then, of course, the tip of the week. I want to talk about now in this segment, though, is good news. I went to a mayor's conference, myself and other realtors, and we got to listen to 8 of the local mayors. And I tell you what, it was a breath of fresh air. And that's one of the things I wanted to report about today. We have so much negative things going on, and pick up the newspaper, turn on the TV, bad things galore. But it was just nice and refreshing to hear what the mayors had and what's coming up in 2018. And they said, as I mentioned to you, they went from Columbia all the way out to Breeze, and they were in Belleville and Fairview. And there were 8 of them, and they all gave basically updates of what was going on. And this is important information not only for buyers, but you as sellers. These things do affect you, and being able to know that your community leaders are doing everything they can to make your area, your town, your city that you live in much more desirable, which is going to help you on pricing and also the speed of the sale. So I'm going to recap some of the things that they said. I won't have time to go through everything, but I just want to hit some of the highlights. Mayor of Shiloh, Jim Vernier, he's been on the show before. We talked about the new cancer center coming into Shiloh. And this is huge. This is just huge. Just on a personal standard, most people have or know someone that's been affected by cancer. And before you had to go to St. Louis, that's where the treatment centers were. Now, great news are coming to Shiloh. They're going to be building in Shiloh next to Memorial Hospital. So those long trips back and forth, and again, my father had cancer, and I had taken him to those, and coming back after chemo or after having treatment is not a fun thing. So again, having it somewhere local that can have much more of an effect, that was fantastic news, and that was exciting to hear. Also, the fact is that Mayor Herb Roach of O'Fallon, again, he's been on the show a few times, talked about their plans in 2018 of getting small homes built for veterans, in particular homeless veterans, to help them. If you live in the Metro East, you're definitely aware of the Skyforce base, and if you live in St. Louis, it's the same thing. You know Skyforce base and the impact it has. And I thought it was an amazing thing that they're trying to put something together where homeless veterans, they can find them homes, give them homes they can live in, and keep them off the streets. I thought that was just a really incredible thing. Mayor Mike Leopold of Swansea talked about the tripling the green space in Swansea this coming year, meaning parks and trails and all kinds of things that's going to help not only the community but also in the housing market. And maybe the last one I just touch on is because they all had great things, but the one that really kind of struck with me was the Mayor of Breeze, Charlie Hines. And he talked about a story about an individual lived in Breeze, and they came and someone was stricken with an illness, a child, and they wanted to build a park, and they needed more park area. And they figured out that the cost would be $400,000, and as the mayor talks, the city loved it, the mayor loved it, but they didn't have the $400,000. Well, this one woman kind of started a crusade and talked to 2 and 3 and 4, and all of a sudden, within, I think it was a little over a year, was able to raise almost $350,000, and now that just, dream is becoming a reality. And so the city got behind it, the citizens got behind it, and it's going to happen. So, again, those are just some of the great things that are happening. There's numerous other things going on in Columbia and Mascoutah and other parts of the area. But just know that, it's easy to pick on the politicians. I hear you. But in most cases, they really are trying to do the best for us and best for communities, which naturally not only helps us in the community, but also helps your value of your houses, your most important asset for most people. With that, we're going to have Deb Rust and Dave Hoey on New American Funding in the next segment. Listen to Ready, Set, Sold with your host, Bryan Vogt. Talk soon.